Alright mateys, welcome back. Well, in part one, we installed the smart plug inlets on the boat. Now you have two choices. You could get the plug set or the cord set, and this comes in orange and 25 and 50 foot lengths, and it's already got the smart plug or smart connector on it. Or if your cord is good and you don't want to buy a whole new cord, in the combo kit, which we're going to use here, I'm going to show you how you can just cut the old plug or connector off and put a new smart plug connector on. Well, now let's take a look at installing the connector or plug onto an old cable. And here's what we're going to need and what comes in the package. So here's all we're going to need: a utility knife, Phillips screwdriver, some dishwashing soap, paper towels, and of course wire strippers. And now here's what comes in the package. I'm using the connector that came in the combo package here for the connector and the inlet. And let's see what we get here. Now we have our instruction sheet, and this is important because, let me see where it is here. Here we are. You see we have a wire cutting gauge again on this. So in that package, of course, we had the body of the connector, our flexible cord sealer, and this is the cord install tool. We'll have a Allen wrench and the screws to tighten everything back up here. Now the first thing we're going to do is pull this apart. There we are. And open these gates up here, and this is where these little screws are going to come in. We're going to use those to tighten this back up and then to tighten this into here. So we put the flexible cord seal in, and you see it's just going to fit in here like this. You have to pull on it a little bit, make sure it's all the way in. Wiggle it around nicely. There we are. Double check on the inside here that it's secure, and it is. Next we'll prepare our cable, and this is my old wire here. It's not in great shape. At this end it wasn't. I had to cut this way back because the wires were just so brittle on that. But we'll use the template here as to how far we cut back. Be right here. And we want to be very careful not to cut any of the wires. Now I don't have a big wire strippers, so you're not really going to fit around this very well. And that's where the utility knife can come in. Just be very careful when you cut around that you don't cut into these wires. Just kind of clean this up the best you can. There we are. We'll go back to our mark here and lay this out so we know where we want to strip this back to. Again, being very careful not to cut into the strands. So if you lose a few strands, you're just reducing efficiency. So what I found to work out easy for me anyway is I got the insertion tool part way in there, and I have that all soaped up. Now I'm going to put soap on the cable, fit that in here, get all our wires together. Whoops. Now push that in, There, you see how nice and smooth that's going? And it takes our cord, and we just keep on going. You're going to keep pushing. And once our cord comes out a little bit, we'll pull the insertion tool out, and we'll just keep pushing the cord in. I think up to that point where that is just holding things up. Yeah, I need to get a little more pressure on it. Now see, I pulled this out, so now I can pull the cord through. There we go. Give yourself some room to work here. That should be sufficient. Now, we get all our wires cleaned up here. Get that out of our way. And everything twisted nice. Got my Allen wrench here. Now we'll get ready to stick these in, and here again, like I did with the inlet, I'm going to kind of bend these so that we can put all of them in at one time. Double check, all these are open. We don't want any strands. Push that down nice and tight. Oh, that went in, those went in really nice. Okay, now we'll tighten them in. All right, so I've gone around, I made sure these are all nice and tight and secure. Oh yeah. Next, we want to tighten up this retaining or holding clamps, and we use our 2 screws here. Now you see there's 3 longer ones, and that will be to hold this body together. And then this one, these 2, we're going to start off on this side. We'll tighten one a little bit and then the other a little bit. And then it doesn't have to be super tight, but we want them to be secure. Just tighten that up a little and go back and forth with them so that you get even pressure as we're tightening these. Now, you can see I've crimped this a little bit. It's not smashing the cord, but it's whole. I mean, I'm pulling. That's good. All right. Now what we want to do is work this into the body, and a little bit at a time here. There we go. Now we may have to put a little bit of soap back on that. That's going to be all right. There we go. This is an old cord. I tell you, it's not real slippery. Oh. There we go. Now, once I got down to the soap, moved pretty easy. We're going to remove this watertight ring for right now, because we're going to need to get in here and tighten our body screws. And you see this has a a sticky back side to it, so when we put that in, it'll help hold that in place. There we are. Yep. Now you can feel, well, you couldn't on there, but when we got this in, these little clips Now watch them. There. See, now we know that that's in place. Now we'll put our tightening screws in. You'll notice when they finally grip, it'll pull this in. Where'd my other? Oh, there we are. You want this secure, but don't over tighten it. And I tell you as a tip, guys, a regular straight screwdriver will work better than this with all this rigmarole in the way. I can feel that's tight. You don't want to over it. Once it's snug, you're good. Now, with the flat edge, I'm going to use this. Take our sticky off here. Put that in place. Push it down with a flat edge. And this helps make it waterproof for a good tight connection. And that's all there was to it. Well, that didn't take long. It wasn't that difficult. Now, let's go to the boat, plug this smart plug in to a smart inlet, see how it all works. So here we are back on the boat, got our smart plug inlets. Pop this one open, take our smart plug cord, and you hear that click in? So it's locked on the sides, and when you pull this top down, here, there's a little latch in here. That helps lock it in a second time. Now on these, when you put your own inlet, or when you put your own plug on, it may take a few times of pushing that on to get that gasket, the waterproof gasket in there to set, which is good because you want a nice tight fitting. There we go. So this whole process of upgrading my shore power for something easier to use and safer to use really didn't take that long. I mean, I think the hardest part of this was pushing the cable in because this is such an old cable. The most difficult part of putting the inlet in was having to crawl back down in the lazarette to put the cable back in, which, like we said, that worked out to be okay. But check out their website. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm very, very happy with this. A few of my boat neighbors have walked by already, and they like this thing. So until next time, happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends.